On behalf of the West Michigan Airport Authority and its members, the City of Holland and City of Zeeland and Park Township, welcome to the ribbon cutting of our new airplane apron in the Airport Business Center. I am Tim Klunder, Chair of the Authority Board of Directors and Zeeland City Manager. Thank you for joining us today. In the tradition of public gatherings in West Michigan, we will begin these proceedings with an invocation. The Mayor of Holland, the Honorable Nancy DeBoer, will offer our invocation.
This is such an amazing thing to be able to celebrate. Let's give thanks. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for this beautiful day, for this wonderful facility, for this gateway to the world, that we may welcome people as they should be welcomed to the corporate climate that is this region. We thank you, Lord, for the perfection and the beauty that you have put together in this building. And we give you the glory because every good and perfect gift comes from you. We pray, Lord, that we will honor you as we go about our business in this area, and that we will be an example to others of the difference you make in a community. We thank you for this time and for all of these people. These kind of relationships do not happen in other places in the world, and we want to treasure and grow them. We thank you, Lord, for being here and for each person that is represented in each company. In your name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Mayor, for that blessing. I now invite one of the airport's strongest boosters, the former mayor of Zeeland, one of my former bosses, Les Hoagland, who helped found the airport authority, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
This is a proud day in Western Michigan. My honor to ask you to turn around and please pray. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Les. In our system of public airports, the Federal Aviation Administration is a primary funding source for runways, taxiways, navigation aids, and specifically today, aprons. Today, we are pleased to have with us Congressman Bill Huizenga to offer his words on this great occasion. Congressman Huizenga.
Well, I'm gonna speak from the heart here a little bit, but first I want to introduce a colleague of mine who is here with me today, Jim Renacci. Jim, you want to put your hand up? Jim's from that state that has a football team that everybody hates, down a little further south and east of us. But Jim's a congressman from the Cleveland area and Akron, Cleveland and Akron. He's a businessman, a CPA background, and he and I really bonded in 2010 when we came in together. And it's been fun. He came in. We've had a couple of meetings together. I drove him through Zeeland, drove him past that Herman Miller, drove him past Gentex, drove him past Hayworth. I know this is a 50-50 transaction around here on that. And for the record, I will tell you, I've got both office furniture from both in my offices. So we're very bipartisan here, Jim, on that when it comes to office furniture. You know, this is a special place. And as Jim was commenting to me about, wow, I mean, just the diversity of our area and the district, and he was very struck by what he was seeing and sort of the employees and the employers that are represented here today, and what this means. It is very important as we have that West Michigan fingerprints, literally, not on just Michigan's business, not on just this country's business, but the international and world business stage. It has an impact from right here in West Michigan, and Tulip City is a place that is key to all that. It's a place that is used for both business and pleasure. We've seen great joy I had one of my enduring memories out here was my late father. He and I took a B-24 flight out of this. That was back a number of years ago. Then Dad had crashed in a B-24 in World War II, and that was the first time he had been in a B-24 since that crash. He did quip that he hoped the landing was a lot better this time, and it was. I came out of that flight, and just my soul and my spirit was soaring. I also remember welcoming home the body of Sergeant Price here, and many of you were part of that as well, as we lost a local soldier, and as the Marines flew that body in. This area has seen it all at various times, and Tulip City's been a part of that. And I remember the old trailer before the house with the Ludema kids when I went to high school with them all. You know, the changes that have happened, not just here at the airport, but in the surrounding area, have been amazing. And I'm proud to stand behind this project, proud to be a part of today's celebration, and just say congratulations on all the people that have worked on this. I see Roger is here, Roger Victory, our state representative. I'm not sure if Amanda or Mary is here, either of them, or Daniela. But this is a all hands on deck kind of effort when it comes to the local, the state, and the federal government, making sure that this is happening. So thanks for having me today, and we're just very pleased that Tulip City could make this expansion and really be the gateway that it is here as we have visitors coming and going. So thanks again.
Today is a red letter day in the history of the West Michigan Regional Airport, which operated for many years under its former name, Tulip City Airport. We not only dedicate our new apron and this magnificent midfield business center, but we celebrate what good things can happen when we work together as one Holland-Zeeland Park Township community. It wasn't many years ago the airport struggled to find the money to win generous federal and state aviation grants for runways, fences, lights, and all the things necessary to operate a safe, modern airport. Then, far-sighted community leaders banded together to create the West Michigan Airport Authority, which persuaded our residents to authorize the smallest millage allowed by law, 1/10 of 1 mil. This steady stream of revenue was important to realizing this day. It provided the base for winning federal and state support, and in the great tradition of our area, welcoming generous donations from individuals and businesses which have the wisdom to invest in their community. More important, though, was that the public and private representatives of Holland, Zeeland, and Park Township worked together to ensure a bright future for this regional asset. And so today, we celebrate not only this shiny new building, which replaces an embarrassing former airport office, not so affectionately known as the old brown ranch house, which I'm going to go off script just a second. I met one of the Bowers, and they said when they moved in there was mice. And I said, well, talking with Ron not too long ago, I think there was still mice in that house. So no mice in this building. But we celebrate as well the success of regional collaboration in achieving common goals. To help mark this occasion, we are honored to have with us today representatives of business and government who worked with your airport board to make this day a reality. On the wall immediately behind you, kind of to your side, in front of you over there on the right by the conference room, you'll notice a plaque recording the many who made this day possible. Karen Skolton, our communications assistant, is responsible for the design of this fitting tribute to the community support for a shared asset. Thank you, Karen, for your efforts on the design and for the recognition plaque and for all those that contributed to this amazing project. I would also like to salute our airport engineering firm, Mead & Hunt. Maybe if you could just raise your hand if you're Mead & Hunt. progressive architects and engineers who designed the building. And our main contractors for the building, CL Construction, Brian, and Milbacher and Sons for their fine work on the apron. Another important partner in making this day possible is the state of Michigan, its Michigan Aeronautics Bureau, and the Michigan Economic Development Corporation. Our state government over the years has invested millions of dollars in this airport. With us today, representing Governor Snyder and many state officials who supported our airport improvement projects, is Ann Armstrong.
Hello, everyone. Isn't this a great Pure Michigan day? It's so gorgeous. I love autumn, and I'm glad to see you all here. I'm the Associate Director of the Office of Urban Initiatives and also Governor Snyder's West Michigan Liaison, and a lot of you see a lot of me, so thank you for putting up with me at every event and breakfast and dinner. When I drove in here, I actually said, wow, out loud. I wasn't expecting such a beautiful profile and all the glass and windows. And to me, and I know Governor Snyder would echo this, this is a portal not only to the lakeshore, but to West Michigan. So a lot of people who have not visited, a lot of business people, private citizens who have not visited, this will be their first view of who we are. And that's pretty amazing. I hand it to all of you, and this is a prime example of the public-private partnership. And I know we hear a lot about that, but this kind of interaction and vision and fundraising is what helps our economy grow and makes our community prosper. And I know that this is an important to Governor Snyder as well. And when I read through the list of partners from Herman, Miller, and Hayworth and other corporate donors, from private citizen contributions, the Airport Authority, the Michigan Economic Development Corporation, the Federal Aviation Administration, the Department of Transportation, and I'm sure I'm forgetting something. That's an impressive coalition of people to build this vision and get it done. And I'm told debt-free. That represents good stewardship of public-private dollars. And this type of infrastructure improvement is right in line with the governor's vision. Earlier this year, he established a 21st Century Infrastructure Commission, whose charge it is to come up with strategies on how to modernize all of our infrastructure. That's water, wastewater, electricity, telecommunications, and transportation. And it's this kind of work that's propelling us into the future. And we know that the public sector can't do it, and we don't want the public sector to do it. The public sector doesn't always have the vision. It's there to support this type of vision from coming forward. The Infrastructure Commission is also encouraging the Department of Transportation to really review Michigan's aviation needs so that we can modernize and update all of our aviation infrastructure. I just wanted to let you know that the governor has been committed to aviation during his first term, and some of the legislators know this, that he helped to modernize the structure on aviation fuel so that more revenues could be dedicated to infrastructure like this. And so for our economy to move forward, we need that kind of support as well. Well, it's well-planned, visionary collaboration like this that keeps Michigan moving forward. It's why we're the comeback state. It's why we're going to keep coming back and moving forward. And West Michigan is always a leader in that regard. So on behalf of Governor Snyder, thank you for all your collaboration, your work, and your busyness in propelling the economy forward, and the way you provide for your citizens. Thank you.
Thank you, Ann. Please extend our thanks to Governor Snyder, the staff at the Aeronautics Commission, and the MADC. Over the years, the aeronautics staff has been particularly kind to our airport, and we are grateful. I would also acknowledge the key support of Senator Tanya Shoemaker, and who could not be here today, and former Representative Joe Hovman, whose legislative efforts won an economic development allocation for our new building. State aviation officials have often remarked how unusual it is for our airport, such as ours, to have broad private support. In that regard, I am happy to present Chairman of the Hayworth Company, Matthew Hayworth, whose company has been a steady contributor and frequent flyer of West Michigan Regional Airport. Mr. Hayworth.
Thank you, Tim. It is fun to be here. Before I share a few thoughts on what this space and this building means to our organization, I would like to acknowledge someone, knowing it took a whole team and different stakeholder groups. But Greg, if you'd come up for a minute. Come on. It took a lot of stakeholders that I'm going to touch on in a minute to make this happen. You've already heard about them today. They're up on the wall. But it also takes a leader to drive a project home, and it takes a visionary. And for this project, that gentleman is Greg Robinson. And for those, many of you know him, but for those that don't, he served as Assistant City Manager in Holland from 1992 to 2014. And in that role, he already began to move this project forward by being the primary advocate within the city and the primary connector or ambassador to this program. In 2014, as he became the manager of the West Michigan Airport Authority, he continued that vision in terms of what this space could be. He was a visionary in bringing stakeholders together beyond the different governmental entities in terms of the different individuals and the different groups that needed to make this happen. And then he also helped project lead it and did a lot of the technical work and the heavy lifting around the grants. And so for all of those reasons, I'd like to again just acknowledge Greg and say thank you. Thank you, Greg. I'm going to touch on three items. One is a sense of teamwork, the second is connection, and the third is first impressions. This has been a great day for me, and I started it out at 7:30 at Boatworks with a good number of you, but not all of you. And we had a community gathering of business leaders, nonprofits, and we talked about getting students ready for school and the fact that a unique program started here in West Michigan with Bruce Loss and the Ready for School folks and funding it. And you said, well, what's the connection to an airport authority and transportation, right? Well, that first idea is teamwork. And we've talked about it a lot, but we're doing unique things in West Michigan. And the reason is we approach things from a win-win proposition, the whole stakeholder system. A lot of trust has been built up over the years between different stakeholder groups, citizens, government, nonprofit, businesses, and others. And that trust is precious, and we have to continue to nurture it, not take it for granted. We can lose it in a second, but it's served us very well. And I shared this morning that when we bring people in from around the world to work at Hayworth that weren't born and raised here, it reminds me that it is unique. As I grew up here, sometimes I assume that everybody else works the way we do, and I've learned it's not the case. And that's reinforced when I travel around the world. So I want to congratulate all the stakeholder groups here and celebrate, particularly the courage and the vision of the three local governmental entities, City of Zeeland, City of Holland, and Park Township. It takes courage to share the burden of shared resources when you don't necessarily have to. It's the right thing to do, but it doesn't happen enough. And so for those three entities to put that forward was great. And not only did it allow this to occur, but you know, we're bringing back a portion of what we send to the state of Michigan, a portion of what we send to the federal government. So while I'm glad that the federal government entities and the state entities worked with us, I'm really, really proud of those three entities, because if that mechanism of the regional airport authority hadn't been put into place in the 1 mil, we wouldn't be able to get some of the taxpayers and the resources that we send away back to our own community. So I want to say thanks for the teamwork. Second is this idea of connection. Ann just touched on it, right? The world is a crazy place, change is happening all over, And we need to connect to the world. So we need to bring West Michigan, Zeeland, the townships, Holland, businesses to the world. We have things to learn by going there. And more importantly, we need to bring the world back to Holland. And we're not the easiest place to get to driving a commercial from some locales around the world. And so this is going to help some of those very important decision makers, potential new talent, potential investors to come here easier. So we're connecting, and we need to do more of that, and that's important. And the third and final area I want to touch on is that idea of first impressions. Again, Ann talked about it, right? You've heard the old saying, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. And how different is this impression than what we had before? It's something we can be proud of. It's a sense of place. It's something we're doing throughout West Michigan. I just was in Zeeland having a great meal a few weeks ago, and to think of how that had changed since when I lived there, right out of college in the 90? That city should be really proud, and we're seeing that throughout our area. Winston Churchill said, very famously in the business that I'm in, where place and space are what we do, that people form buildings and then buildings form us. And I think we should be really proud about this in terms of how it'll serve us today and into the future. And I think it's going to form our visitors, the newcomers to our area, and ourselves into a place that's going to give us a brighter future. So I think we should all be proud. Thank you for all the different stakeholder groups and what you've done. Thanks.
Thanks, Mr. Haywood, for those thoughtful words. Thanks for the contributions to the Business Center, the apron, and then past projects too, like the runway and the tunnel project too. Outstanding. Another great corporate contributor to this airport is the Herman Miller Company. With every airport improvement project we have undertaken in the last 15 years, in good times and difficult ones, Herman Miller has contributed time, talent, and treasure to our airport. It is a pleasure to welcome Herman Miller's Chief Financial Officer, Jeff Stutz, to help us celebrate today. Jeff?
Well, good afternoon, everyone. It is a true honor and a privilege to be here celebrating with you all on this really terrific occasion. As Tim said, my name is Jeff Stutz. I don't know many of you. I serve as the Chief Financial Officer at Herman Miller. And it is, again, a great pleasure. I'm here today representing Brian Walker, our CEO, Linda Brand and Claudia Courtwright, who run our giving program at Herman Miller, and in fact, the entire executive leadership team at Herman Miller. Now, I could just get up here and say what they said, but I'm going to pile on a little bit. I'm not going to take a lot of your time. I'm going to share a few thoughts of my own around the level of true collaboration and the community spirit that it took to put all of this together. And I'll begin by just saying I think it's great when we can all come together and celebrate true collaboration and what is obviously a ton of very hard work that results in something so wonderful for our community. So I want to take a moment and pile on a bit and congratulate Greg, you and your team, to the good people of Hayworth and every one of the donors on the wall over there on a job very well done. There's no doubt this airport is a tremendous resource for our business, and we're proud to be donors for a number of important reasons. To be sure, this facility and this new building will allow us to improve the effectiveness and the efficiency of our business, and in turn provide returns to our shareholders, and importantly, return more to the vitality of this area, which is critically important. And it's embodied in what businesses in Western Michigan do all the time in a bigger and a better way than many other regions around the country. And we're very proud of that. But we're also very proud of the spirit that this airport represents, embodied in a variety of community outreach activities that take place here, things like Wings of Mercy and youth programs and many, many more. Those of us that live here and have the privilege of living here and spending our lives here in Western Michigan, we already know how special this community is. And we now have a regional airport facility that is as beautiful as the region that it serves. And I have no doubt it's going to be a great asset to this community for many, many years to come. So I'll just close by simply saying thank you once again on a job well done. Thanks to all the donors. This is just truly spectacular.
Thank you, Jeff. Please extend our thanks to Mr. Walker and the entire Herman Miller team. One of the early pioneers for regional support for this airport is Amanda Price, currently a state representative. First as a Park Township trustee and then supervisor, Amanda Price worked to broaden support for our airport. She couldn't be with us today, but wanted to be remembered to you. Here to deliver her greetings is Park Township trustee, and my pleasure of having him as a vice chair for the Airport Authority, Mike Toscano.
So I drew the short straw, and representing the board, they made me stand up in front of you to read this from Representative Price, but it's a very heartfelt message from Amanda. Dear Mr. Klunder, since long before the formation of the West Michigan Airport Authority, members of the Holland, Zeeland, Park Township communities recognized the importance and key differentiating factors of a business airport in our area to promote and expand business opportunities in West Michigan. In 2006 and 2007, business and community leaders and organizations came together through the facilitation of the Macatawa Area Coordinating Council to form the West Michigan Airport Authority under the belief that the airport has a direct benefit to the competitiveness of our area businesses, would sustain jobs for our residents, and have a positive impact to share in the area. It has given me a great sense of pride to witness the formation of the West Michigan Airport Authority in 2007 as a trustee in Park Township, to serve as its first secretary and later as vice chair, because I believed then, as I do now, that this facility adds a dynamic aspect to the success of the business community in the Holland, Zeeland, Park Township area. I have many fond memories of watching the votes come in during the Airport Authority election at Holland City Hall, touring the old mobile home that served as the office, and learning the ins and outs of the Michigan Department of Transportation Bureau of Aeronautics and the many meetings at West Shore Aviation. I wish I could be with you today, but have a previously scheduled function out of state. My heartiest congratulations on the long-anticipated Airport Business Center and the Aircraft Apron Project. It is a beautiful facility and will serve the West Michigan Regional Airport for decades to come. Best wishes, Amanda Price, State Representative, 89th District.
Thank you, Mike. If you would allow me now to recognize the other members of the board. From Park Township, if you just raise your hand, Kel Matthijs, Russ Silty. From the City of Holland, Councilman Todd Whiteman, Liz Hofswell. From the City of Zeeland, Mayor Kevin Kleinstra, and former Mayor Les Hoagland, and our two county representatives from Allegan County, Jim Story, and from Ottawa County, Don Disselcombe. How about a round of applause for all of them? We would also like to recognize other dignitaries who joined us on this special occasion today. And just let me apologize up front if I slight anybody. That is not our intent. But we did recognize just a few that we wanted to point out. Peter Ross Dickow from the West Michigan Region Director for U.S. Senator Gary Peters' office. He's back there. Fred Bauer from Gentex. Dick Hayworth from Hayworth. I know he's here. I've seen him at one point. Roger Victory, our state representative. Brad Slaw, Ottawa County Treasurer. Jerry Hunsberger, Park Township Supervisor. Bruce Loss, and Ann Query. They were all involved at the very beginning. And then obviously Mayor Nancy DeBoer from the City of Holland. Thank you all for being here. Finally, it's important to recognize the City of Holland. Former Mayors Al McGeehan, Kurt Dykstra, as well as Mayor Nancy DeBoer. Holland leases the airport property to the authority, and prior to the authority's establishment, for decades bore the sole responsibility for supporting this gateway to the world. The City of Zeeland and Park Township are happy to now partner with you on this responsibility. Also, we extend our appreciation and thanks to Ron and Linda Ludema, their staff who operate Tulip City Air Service, which is our fixed base operator. Pilots have freely shared their view that Tulip City Air is one of general aviation's service leaders in servicing the aircraft and serving the aviators who use West Michigan Regional Airport. In many ways, they are the true faces of our airport.